Hey guys, so moving on, uh, one other pair we looked at last week was the Euro USD. You know, gave us a little fair profit, but then market moved back. Fundamental reasons and all of that, which is not beyond the technical scope actually. But we saw that coming in. So that being said, let's look at what had happened last week, and let's make a projection of what we expect this week from prices. So yeah, what happened last week? We saw the dovish Fed stand, as regards the rate hike and all of that, which triggered this particular candlestick, and the price went as much as about 88 pips, profit. Remember, we said our entry is going to be somewhere around this point, which we made very clear from, the analysis we dropped last week. So yeah, this really gave a very good return, back to the next resistance, which was about 94 pips, right? Some people got out, as much as they, some of us really got out at the very fair pips, because we're looking out for prices to break this level and wanted to see that. So we add our stop loss even right on break even some pips away, right? So now that being said, let's look at prices again. Let's take things off as we always do. Let's go to the bigger time frame. Let's understand what the market is doing. So now back to the monthly time frame. Right. Some weeks ago, we made an analysis on this pair, right? What is happening on the weekly time frame is really very simple. Prices broken the main range zone, which is the blue zone, made a push, still on a higher highs, a higher low structure. You can see the last low, we're expecting price to, reject the 61.8 Fibonacci right on this level of 61.8 Fibonacci around this level to give us the continuation push we expected the upside, right? So let's get to the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, what did we do? What we did was simple. We identified the previous area of resistance turning into support, which is number one support. The second support we're looking out for is actually the 61.8 support, right? Which we made identify with this dotted lines right here. So right, so let's look closer and let's see what price has been doing. After price bounced off the 61 point, what has been happening for prices? Price bounced off, closers are very strong, like the bulls are getting to the market. The next week, which is last week, we can see price made a strong a short push to the upside, made the last push, and the bulls pushed it to this level. So what do we say? Actually, we saw that towards the closing of those of last week, you understand that the bears came in to cover for some little areas, that some majority of the areas that actually the bulls had pushed price in. But as our bias changed, no, we still expect price to make the next push to the upside, right? We didn't expect price to just continue making that push to the upside just like that after the bounce of the 61.8. Definitely, especially on the trend as strong as this, right? Definitely, we expect some kind of build-up phase for prices before prices make the strong push to the upside, which is exactly what we're seeing, in game right on this level. As you can see right here, this is the build-up that we're expecting. After this build-up, we expect that impulsive, push to the upside. So let's go to the daily time frame without wasting our time. So what did we do on the daily time frame? Daily time frame, we identified, our key zone, a higher level, just the sensitive zones around. And we said if price should reject right on this level, the first level price is coming to right here, is here, then here, then here. But then, to look at the smaller picture first, taking advantage of the smaller picture first, definitely we're looking forward to take a profit right here if we could see some rejection to the upside, right? So remember, we have a strong support right here, a strong area of buyer's injection right here, which was made known to us by what previous resistance, down support, and the 61.8 Fibonacci level right here. So now let's see what price has done so far this week. Now, so far last week, what price actually did was price made that push to the upside, but then The push wasn't sustained because you can see right here. Okay, let's break it down a little bit, right? You can see price moving on a low structure and on the lower high structure after rejecting from this level, right? And now the low to complete this previous AB, AB equals to CD pattern right here. Made a perfect completion. Remember, after AB equals the CD pattern that we've always talked about, A to B, B to C retracement right on this level, and C to D. After it's completed, we definitely expect to see some rejection, at least at 61.8, which is exactly what we wanted to capitalize on right on this level, back to this level, right? Let me make sure it's properly drawn. Yeah, so back to this level, right? So but then we can't just wait for that we can't just get in carelessly, right? For prices, though personally I got in on a very aggressive entry right on this level, at 15 minutes time frame, right? But definitely for us to be able to get on a more conservative level, since we're protecting our capitals, right? So what we have to do is simple. For us to be able to reach out for the 61.8 level, we need to be able to see the prices are changed direction, and changing of direction means that the bulls are fully in control of the market, right? So what happened last week was we saw this in game, price rejecting at the 61.8 of this old push, right? And we said if we could have a very strong push at the upside to break this previous area of resistance right here, if we could see a break, then it's going to be easy for price to make that push, right? And that was the reason why we found our entry right exactly at the 61.8. But now what did the market do right there? So this was supposed to be like a TP1 for us, and then after the break we're supposed to have a TP2 for us, because we're looking at a trade of about 204, risking as much as just like 30 to 40 pips, right? But now that didn't play out. Price only hit our TP1, right? It hit our TP1, and definitely we saw GUSD gaining more strength again. But does it mean that the bias is done? No, the bias is not done yet. So what do we do? Is very simple. We went to a 4 hours time frame. But before the 4 hours time frame, I want you guys to understand something for fact, that after price refused to find the break above this resistance right here, let's look at it together. After price refused to find the resistance, the break of the resistance right above this level, there's something rejecting price still, which is what the 61.8 Fibonacci level right here. So the battle is between this resistance and this Fibonacci, right? The first Fibonacci that rejected price at the previous area of support, resistance on support, which is a very stronger force, had already acted right here. So could we be having a case of push by the first phase of rejection, right? Definitely the build up we're expecting on the weekly time frame, then definitely the next phase of push, in this coming week could lead with that. Definitely the possibilities of that is high. So let's move to our 4 hours time frame. So on the 4 hours time frame, what do we see right here? So we saw the break of we actually saw the break of the trend line right here, right? So after the break of the trend line right here, we saw the consolidation right here. So let's bring the consolidation back, right? We saw the consolidation of prices right on this level, and what is happening so far is that this consolidation is still rejecting, right on this level. So right on the same level whereby the 61.8 Fibonacci, is rejecting, because we couldn't find the break above this key level right here. So what do we have right here? That means we have a very strong area that we should be looking out for this week if price is going to make that reversal that we expect, right? Because the overall picture on the bigger time frame still says that price is moving to the upside. So what we're simply going to do is we're going to identify this key level out here, knowing fully where the price could find a very strong rejection right from this level. So let's bring out the key level. Very good. So now bringing out the key level right here, right? We could now see right here the price maybe finding a rejection right here. But then if price should break this key level to the downside, what does it mean? That means we could be having a bigger time frame double exhaustion. to this level. So let me identify this out as well, right? So we have two zones for price rejection. It's either price reject right here and move straight to our profit target, or price breaks this level to the downside, ignore all of that, and come back and retest the 61.8 areas, right, and now find the support. So whichever way price is, we are actually prepared for it. All we have to do is wait for the particular point in time where price is going to reject and join this movement to the upside. So now, due to the where price is sitting down on right now is at this key level. So could it be a situation whereby we find a push, just like we explained on the daily time frame? We're finding a build up of exhaustive build up right on this level, price returning back to the 61 point level as it couldn't break it. You understand what I'm saying? Then now we are having the next phase of pushing to the upside. Now let's look at it more critically, and let's see definitely what price is doing, right? So now we see that price made a rejection right back to this level after it made a strong push to the upside. Then we saw the exact same rejection. So could we be having a rejection of AB right here equals to CD right here, which is another variety of price, right? AB equals to CD right here, completion, and price is ready. After price rejected the CD, is now ready to take over to the upside, right? That could be a possibility as well. Remember, all what we want to do is to make sure that everything that happens give us an information that we could be able to make our next move. But the overall information that we're seeing here is that price made the first phase of buyer's injection around this level, and price may be making a second phase right here to make the continuation that we want. So apart from the fact that this point right here is actually the 61.8 rejection, right? This point right here is also price making a push. This point right here is also price making a push, right? Making a lower high structure, right? Lower low structure, a lower high structure, right? A lower low structure right now. And after price found the last lower low structure right here, it found a break, right? And now after finding this break, it's turning what used to be the diagonal resistance now into a support right now, right? So could we now say that apart from this being a 61.8 level of rejection, this could be a diagonal resistance turning to a support, for price to make this push it upside? We don't know about that yet, right? But we are open to the possibilities of that. But every pointers that I've identified out so far is pointing that price is going to the upside, right? So now let's look at what price is doing. So we understand that price could either reject right here. We have all our criteria for that. Now we have possibilities that if price shouldn't return that level, it's definitely come to return that level. So now let's work with where price is right now. So if price should find this rejection that we're looking at on this out for on this level, and we could have price made this push again to this point for TP1 and this point for TP2, which is going to be a very good risk reward for us, risking about as much as like 40 P's for 90 plus P's for TP1 and about 189 more piece for TP2, which is a very good risk reward, whichever TP it could be. So what we're going to do, right, is because now that we're waiting for this possibility of a rejection to the side or the side, let's move to a smaller time frame to wait for price. Now, this is where the magic comes in, right? We waiting for price right now is the fact that we have to be able to make sense with the most recent structure the price is moving on, which is exactly this key structure, right? Let me take this out for a minute. Right. So after price couldn't break this level, price started to move on a key structure to the downside. Right. So now what are the structures that we're having? Right. We're having a push. Right. We're having a lower high structure. Right. And we are having price making a lower low structure, and after price made this lower low structure, price quickly bounced off this level to obey the 4 hours 61.8 structure right on that level. And what do we see when price was approaching the key resistance? When price was approaching the key trend line resistance, was the price give us a retreat right here. So what are we looking out for this week? Now, if price should be rejecting right on this level, we need to wait for our confirmation before we join into the market. So this is exactly what we're going to be waiting out for. We want to see if after price is rejected right here, it can break this structure off, right? If it should break the structure off, then we can, after breaking, definitely we're going to be waiting for a retest, and then we can now join in price, to this level, right? And furthermore to this level. So this is exactly what we're going to be waiting out for price to do, right? So aggressively, we could be looking forward for an entry right on this low. Let me take this off, right? So let me bring this back. Yeah, definitely, we got it. So now aggressively, what are we going to be looking out for? We're looking out for, price finding a push right anyways. So if you're looking for very aggressive entry, you could be waiting for this 61 point. You can see the 61.8 rejecting price right here. So you could be waiting for this 61.8 to break anyways, then find your aggressive entry right here to give you even a much more nicer risk reward, right? By the time price gets to this level, it's going to be about 80 pips on TP1 and about 173 pips on TP2, right? But if you want to play it conservatively, you may want to wait for price, to break this key level right here, right? Find an exhaustion right on this level, then find the next phase of push. So if this should happen, that means the first phase of push after the 61.8 got in right here, the second phase of push after the distribution phase on the weekly time frame got in right here, and as a conservative trader, you want to get on this level to ride this more to the upside. So this is exactly what we're waiting for next week with the informations that we have right here. So I believe this has made things really simple for you guys. Our target is still the same thing. All we're waiting for right now is a confirmation for an entry. We've made sense with potential areas where price could be rejecting at, and right now what we just want to see is the break of a key structure on the lower time frame to find a lower time frame entry. So believe this video is help you see things really differently on how we break the market down from the bigger time frame to a smaller time frame. So if you find this video helpful, you can like, you can share, you can comment, and thank you guys so much, and have a beautiful and lovely week ahead.